YouTube peeps, this is your Chica Sonia in the city of Chicago, where I teach you how to buy, sell, and invest in houses for your Chicago lifestyle. And in this video, I am going to answer the number one question that I have been getting from my clients. Sonia, are home prices going to what? Are they going to tank? And the answer to that question is, it depends on several factors. So I'm going to give you at the end of the video my prediction on what I think might happen, but I also want you to look at data and some factors that are in play right now. Stay tuned. So one of the biggest things that I think is playing a role or will play a role in terms of home prices dropping is how long will this pandemic last? Obviously, the longer that it lasts, the more of an impact it's going to have on housing. The shorter the time frame, the better it's going to be for everyone, obviously. So it really depends on the length of time of how long this is all going to last. The very first factor that you want to take into consideration is unemployment. If we look over time, you'll see kind of a trend. And so right now, there's a lot of unemployment going on. Here is a quick synopsis of my thoughts, just looking back in history in terms of unemployment. All right, so here we have unemployment rate 20 years and over. This is from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, and it's just showing the unemployment rate over time. And as you can see, I want to really focus on more like the highest spike here was 9.3% unemployment in 1983 when that recession hit. And then keep moving down the line. The next highest is 9.2 November of 2009, and that is because of the 2008 housing crash. And then obviously we dip down and then we go up. What I wanted you to see is that to put it in perspective in terms of numbers, so in the 80s, we had approximately 2.5 million that were unemployed. And then in the housing recession of 2008, it went to 2.6 million that were unemployed. I believe in between there was a higher number of unemployed, but as you can see, I'm just focusing on the peaks of the highest unemployment rate. And now in 2020, we have 22 million so far that are unemployed. Here's another article by Washington Post. As you can see, U.S. now has 22 million unemployed, wiping out a decade of jobs. Keep in mind that a lot of these jobs might not come back. Like a lot of employers are noticing, well, we can run a tight ship on a smaller scale versus having all these employees. So remember, employment might not come back for certain people. The other factor that you have to consider are the different types of markets. For example, in Florida, I think that might get hit a little bit more, especially in the Orlando area, because Disney World, as I heard, is going to be closed for the rest of the year. Therefore, that's obviously going to impact housing. If a lot of people don't have employment, then they can no longer pay for their mortgages, for example, and then they might fall into the short sale situation, which they come to be underwater, for example, if they didn't take advantage of the forbearance programs that are out there. So that's one case scenario. Also, when new homes or builders for new homes start slowing that down, then we're going to start seeing in the residential market a slowdown in that as well. So again, it's going to be market by market depending on where you're at. Once you see new home sales slow down, that triggers like residential sale prices to start going down as well. Now, one thing that I haven't mentioned is that it is going to take a span of time. It's not going to happen right now. I wouldn't even say maybe in the next 3 months. It takes a certain amount of time. I went through the 2008 crisis, and that was a housing crisis. This is not a housing crisis. This is, like a natural disaster or act of God or Mother Nature. So this is a totally different, and it's affecting the world. It's not just affecting housing, it's affecting the world. And at that point in time in 2008, it was affecting just housing. People were still employed. So what I wanted to show you is regarding the 2008 crash. So as you can see, this is the S&P Case-Shiller Home Price Index. And what you can see is the dip here in the 2008 crash. So here we are crashing down, down, down. And here we are the bottom, which is right here, which is like late 2009. So almost like a year and a half later that, you know, it was, and even dipped down further in 2012. So it literally was a time span of 2010, 2011, and 2012 where we can see some sort of bottoming out. So obviously it hit the crash in 2008. It did not hit the home prices right there and then. It might not be 2 years until 2 years from now. So just realize that it doesn't happen immediately. So my prediction is that yes, housing will go down. It will take maybe a year, year and a half before it will see like kind of like a bottom, only because of these factors that I just mentioned. And a lot of people unfortunately will go into short sale situation. A lot of, you know, some people, if they were used to having 2 incomes, maybe 1 income, and they just can no longer afford the property, then they might go into foreclosure. And so there might be some good deals out there. So my suggestion is save as much money as you can. Be liquid, so therefore you can take advantage of those prices in the future for 2021. So just kind of write it out. And these are uncertain times, of course. That's just my opinion and suggestion. And don't forget to like and subscribe and share on the channel. See you soon. Talk to you later.